Hey everyone, welcome back to Princess Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with my blind reaction to Season 2, Episode 6 of Cobra Kai. I am a big fat liar. We put this on break in January, and I said we were just taking a little break to get back to Fire Force because I really wanted to get back to Fire Force at the time. Fire Force went on multiple breaks itself since then. Multiple other shows came in. It's been like 8-9 months, and only now we are finally getting back to Cobra Kai. I really apologize for that. It wasn't my intention. I know a lot of you have been waiting for this. I've even gotten asked, like, is Cobra Kai going to be coming back? When is Cobra Kai going to be coming back? It's like, I get it. And we were finally bringing it back. I'm sorry. I know I do things differently than a lot of other reaction channels to where it's like I take these breaks. There's a lot of reaction channels that do it as groups and they're able to get through it a little easier because of that interaction. And then there's some who can just get through things on their own pretty well. But because of my issues and all, just to put it simply, I have trouble getting through a lot of this stuff on one go, unless it's something that like really invests me. My attention span sucks because of my autism and various other issues. It's hard for me to keep attention, so oftentimes I have to take breaks to avoid being burnt out on a series, to avoid losing interest. And again, that wasn't even the problem with Cobra Kai. The problem with this series is simply that I took a break for something else and just never got back to it because I just didn't want to wait any longer to get back to Fire Force. But again, it's just things led to another. I took multiple breaks on Fire Force. I'm currently in the middle of one, though. I will say Fire Force is coming back soon. It's going to be next for one of the slots. So, but yeah, and it's just like it's kind of silly. Some people would say, but for the most part, I think the way I do things on the channel is overall for the positive, for my experience. I know you guys, it might annoy and everything. I know for you, it's like not that great to have to wait months and months to see the ending episodes of a reaction series and everything. You expect to get it like all at once, and it's like, this is how I feel about certain shows that the networks keep putting on hiatus, like Ghost and Molly McGee. It's like that's the exact same thing I feel about that. Except I actually have a notable reason for doing it. Because I don't want to lose interest in the series. I want to continue to be able to be like, enjoying it, and the only way that's going to happen is if I make sure that I don't get burnt out. So yeah, but let's see if I can try to remember where we left off. So Daniel is still teaching his new students. I believe there was this big mall fight and everything that was going on. And it was revealed that Johnny's son is training under Daniel. And it did feel like this big, like, mid-season finale, and it basically was. It's going to be interesting to see where it goes from here, because Kreese is still kind of pulling the strings behind Cobra Kai at the moment. Daniel makes mistakes here and there and just goes a little far here and there, but is trying his best. It's going to be interesting to see what they do going forward with this series. I have a lot of hope. because it's been great. Like I said when I put this on break, I didn't put it on break because I even thought I was going to be burnt out anytime soon. I was still very much enjoying it. I just did it because it's the only show that was on my in my slots at the moment that I could have reasonably replaced with Fire Force for the time being. Even if this is a first impression series and Fire Force is a donation reward, but still. Either way, we're back at it. Okay? We're back. I'm excited to get to more. We should be able to finish out the season at least without much issue. So let us start to do so. There's 10 episodes. Let me check, right? There's 10 episodes because I believe we were like halfway through last time. Yeah, there's 10. I was right. Okay, let us get this going. So, when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. I actually got a little emotional at the end there. This was a really good episode to return to, specifically. Because, while, like I mentioned, last episode very much felt like a mid-season finale, this felt like a mid-season premiere. Kicking off with Johnny and his old Cobra Kai friends having one last night of fun and friendship for the sake of Tommy, who is in very bad condition and does unfortunately end up passing away during the night. To a group of new students, former Cobra Kai, coming to join Miyagi-Do, including Chris, who was the aggressor against Dimitri, but them learning to work together and become allies, putting aside their differences. Daniel mentioning his past with Cobra Kai that I completely forgot about. Like, I'm not even kidding you. I very much forgot. And it's not that I forgot, like, all about number 3. But here's the thing. With the Karate Kid movies, I have seen the first movie an insane amount of more times than I've seen the second and third. In fact, with each passing movie, I've seen them a different amount. The first movie, I've seen the most, obviously. The second movie, of the original trilogy, I saw probably the second most and the third the least. Then there's the next Karate Kid, which I saw probably more than the third but less than the second. But the fact that would kind of lay into the fact that the third movie, although, again, I don't completely forget it, I forget a lot about it because I've seen it the least. And I remember Terry Silver, but I forgot the aspect of Daniel joining Cobra Kai, and I feel like that's kind of a big part of that. Like, that's more than likely one of the biggest plot points of that movie. And I just forgot it. Because it's been a long-ass time and I've seen it a lot less. If I had to put a number on it, I've probably only seen number 3, like, maybe twice. I've seen the next Karate Kid, I know for a fact, 3 times. I know that for a fact. Karate Kid 2, I think I've probably seen, like, maybe around 6 or 7 times. And the first Karate Kid I've seen at least 20 times. I'm not even kidding you. It's that big of a jump. The first one I have seen by far the most. Um, so yeah, I guess just with as few times as I've seen the third one, it's just I just forgot points of it. Um, but yeah, so he talks about how he used to be Cobra Kai for a short time and how it made him very angry and very aggressive, and it turned him away from what's important. And he uses this to help his students understand that you can change. And Robbie needs to learn this himself because he was very much like with the entire once a Cobra Kai, always a Cobra Kai mentality, despite the fact that, he himself has changed a lot. Like, he wasn't Cobra Kai, but he was a bad kid. He was involved in all this bad stuff, and yeah, a lot of it stems from his anger at his parents, his mother for being neglectful, his father for being absentee. Um, but despite that, he was still doing bad things by his choice. And he's gotten better. He's become a better person. But that doesn't just automatically make those bad things he's done go away. It means he's become better. It means he's bettered himself. But it doesn't mean that he never did those things. So him trying to act like all kind of righteous here when he's literally been in the same kind of situation is very hypocritical. And the thing is, I don't even fully think he's realized that. Either that or he's refusing to acknowledge it out of shame. But either way, he needs to come to an understanding that he's kind of being hypocritical here. We also see Kreese being Kreese, so nothing new there. But Johnny does end up telling his friends about, restarting Cobra Kai and Kreese being back. And you can tell they don't like it. They really don't like it. They know that Kreese can't be trusted. They trust Johnny, but they know Kreese can't be trusted, and restarting Cobra Kai in the first place is not the best. But they're putting their trust in Johnny at least. And that ending bit with the show must go on and Kreese saying Cobra Kai never dies, like while it's showing Tommy's death, that got me emotional. That gave me some chills because one, it undermines everything Kreese was saying. It completely invalidates Kreese's entire speech. And obviously Kreese wasn't like being literal with the Cobra Kai never dies thing. But it shows the effect. And honestly, the entire thing with the entire segment of the episode with Johnny and his friends shows the effect that Kreese and Cobra Kai has had on their lives and everything that it has done for them and to them. It shows that it's not a good thing, that this was not healthy, and it didn't lead to anything good. It's showing that Kreese is basically psychotic and that he's in the wrong. That his strike first, strike hardest, no mercy, Cobra Kai never dies mentality, this is what it leads to. It leads to pain. It leads to suffering. And not just for those that you're against, for yourself. It hurts all sides. And that's something that Kreese doesn't understand. And probably never will. It's sad, really. And I really feel bad for all the students in Cobra Kai who are going through this. And speaking of, the one girl whose name I can't remember right now, um, I she mentions her backstory, how she grew up poor and that her mother had to steal food from the diner she worked at just to feed the family, and that when she was found out, she got fired for it because it's against company policy, despite the fact that the food was going to be thrown away anyway. And this is a real fucking thing. I have heard stories of fast food employees who took like leftover food that was going to be thrown away to either feed their families or even give away to homeless people and have been fired for it. Even though the food was going to go into the trash anyways, because it's quote unquote against company policy. And anyone who would actually do this, any employer who would actually fire someone for this kind of thing, can fuck right off to hell. Like, they are absolute scum. If any employer, and not just the manager of the store, but like higher ups in corporate and everything as well, if this is a policy that you have, you can fuck right off to hell. That is inhumane as fuck. It is just absolutely ridiculous. There's nothing that can be justified about that. There's nothing about it that can be even slightly excused. Especially when the employee who does it is doing it so that their family can, live. That they can survive, that they can have food to live, because fast food is severely underpaid because, the world acts like it's not worthy, like fast food employees are not worthy of being able to survive on their salary. It's fucking ridiculous. And especially here in America. This is also the country, mind you, that puts up like spikes so that homeless people can't sleep on benches and shit. And it's like, I can't understand patriotism for this country. I really can't. How can you be patriotic towards a country this absolutely fucked up? It's honestly immoral, in my eyes, to be patriotic towards America. With as fucked up as it is. You can say you love this country, you can say you love the people in it and everything, but to say you're patriotic towards it is fucked up. I'm sorry, it just is. And it's shit like this that's the reason for it. And I get where she's coming from, the character here. I get where she's coming from, but that does not excuse Cobra Kai mindset. That does not excuse Kreese's Cobra Kai mindset, I should specify. That's not okay. Obviously, Johnny's going to eventually realize what Kreese is trying to do here, and is eventually going to fight back against it. Unfortunately, Kreese is definitely going to get some of the students on his side, and it's going to lead to like a Cobra Kai civil war. It's not going to be good. But we'll see how it goes. We'll see what happens. But getting past all the down shit. I'm not trying to just like bring the mood to hell with how down it's getting, but I did very much enjoy this episode. I want to make that clear, even with all the dour shit going on. I very much enjoyed it. It was a good return to a fantastic series, and it makes me excited to see where this season goes, how it ends, and what ends up becoming of Cobra Kai. So, yeah, very, very excited. Really enjoyed this. Can't wait to see where it goes next. But tell me in the comments below, what did you think of this episode of Cobra Kai? And thank you so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.